Hi, students. Chapter 10 has to do with math. What do you feel or think about when you hear that word? Does it bring dread to your mind, or anxiety, hatred even? Or is it something you love? However you view math depends on what was your history. What was it like in elementary school and high school? What did your parents think about math and the experiences you had? I remember from my own past, I didn't mind math. In fact, I loved algebra because algebra had formulas. So if I could just memorize the formulas, then I'd be okay. But when it came to problem-solving questions, I hated them. I despised them. And to this day, I still do. And yet we know a big part of math for young children is learning to problem solve. So I've had to rethink what it means to me and how important that is. And you know, if you're going to be teaching preschoolers, you have to realize that math is just such a vital part of their lives and a part of their learning. You can't avoid it, but you have to learn to embrace it. I think it will help if you have a good understanding of what math looks like for young children. I'd like to read to you some really great material from a book called Creative Mathematics. And I picked out certain parts of it because I thought, maybe this could help you understand just what children are learning. Long before children use numbers, they're aware of them through daily experiences. For example, children become aware of sequences in events before they can talk about what is first, second, or third. At the age of 2 or 3, they know that one block on top of another is 2 blocks. And they know that if they add more, they will have 3, even though they may not know or understand the words 2 or 3. When they lift objects, they experience lightness or heaviness. Also, when they cuddle in their mother's lap, they feel themselves small and her big. They know all this by the reality of their everyday experiences through living and doing. Thus, children are able to tell differences in sizes of people, animals, toys, before they have any idea of measurement. They recognize, too, the difference between one and many, and between few and lots, before they acquire real number concepts. They develop a sense of time long before they can tell by the clock. Their idea about time grows out of hearing statements like, "It's time for lunch," "It's time to go to bed," "We're going for a walk today," "We went to the park yesterday." In such instances, parents and teachers reinforce math concepts every day in their normal routines. Thus, when these children enter early childhood programs, they have already experienced many basic mathematical learning. You see, children learn with their senses. We know that already, I think. And they learn with their whole bodies. Their understandings become parts of themselves. Only after this has happened can they name those experiences. By the time they learn the words big, small, light, heavy, or the names of numbers, they will know by their own senses what these words mean. So when we talk about math in the early childhood classroom, we know about the different centers and the environments that are developmentally appropriate. What do they learn when they're outdoors regarding math? Many things, but an example of one is they're learning spatial reasoning. In other words, with their big body play, they're learning over, under, around, and through. That's spatial reasoning. where their bodies are in space. What about the Literacy Center? Most literacy centers will have books that kind of focus on different counting experiences. They can learn to sequence, well, what comes next? They can learn to order, to count, compare, all these things they can learn from really good literacy books that might have math concepts in them. What about math in the Arts Center? Well, how much do they need to do this? They have to consider the items they'll need, often the shapes that will be required to do what they want to do. And this relates directly to problem solving and measurement. Of course, math in the sensory area, sand and water, there are so many concepts such as measurement, size of objects, more, less, empty, and also when you think of sensory, I also like to include cooking. Cooking is an absolutely wonderful way for children to learn about math concepts. How much, the devices used for measuring, cup, tablespoon, etc. Then math in the Block Center is phenomenal. They learn math whether they think they are or not, just simply by moving and building with these geometric shapes that are just full of possibilities. So math in the blocks is probably one of the best ways children are beginning to understand math concepts. You're also learning in this chapter, I put a special segment in your module on loose parts. To me, that is one of the most valuable tools that can be learned and utilized in a classroom. We are Reggio inspired, so our idea and use of loose parts is many and varied. They are considered manipulatives, and that's a word you'll need to know, manipulatives, what children can manipulate with their hands. And of course, it's important to partner with parents. There are many things children can do and learn at home through their everyday experiences that can promote math learning for young children. All right, that's all for today. Thank you.